Hey guys, we're going to talk about the mental menu and what this means, how to apply it as an athlete. This can help you as an athlete, this can help you in pretty much anything that you're doing, even outside of sports. And so the idea is this: when you go to a restaurant and you have a menu in front of you, if you can imagine you're sitting at your favorite restaurant and you're looking at your favorite entrees, your favorite sides, your favorite drinks, right? And so all of these things on the menu, these are the only things you can pick from. Right? And so you're not thinking about what that restaurant has to offer or what this restaurant has to offer. Again, it's the menu in front of you that you're going to pick from, and that alone. So if you can apply this very simple concept to yourself as an athlete, we're trying to create your own mental menu of thoughts to pick from. And if anything is not on the menu, you're not going to be able to pick from it. And you've got to stay true to that, and you've got to be able to set the rules for yourself with really staying true to the menu. And that's the premises behind this mental menu. Okay, it's the mental menu of thoughts you're going to allow yourself to pick from. And I'm going to dive into it some more right now. And so right here we have mental menu. You're going to start up by building two columns. And so column on the left are good thoughts, thoughts that serve you well. Okay, and the column on the right, thoughts that don't serve you. These are all the negative thoughts. And so before you build your mental menu, you got to first lay out everything on the table. And then from there, kind of put them in a bucket and pick and choose, okay, this is something I do want to think during the game. This is something I don't want to think during the game. All right, and so probably the top three ones here, I'm going to write them down right now, is being stressed, feeling anxiety or anxiousness, and thinking about failure. Those are three thoughts that all of us have in almost every game at one point or another that don't serve us well. And so again, if we can start with this list and kind of eliminate failure as a thought, we're not thinking about failure at all. Anything that causes stress, eliminate that thought. And start to pinpoint, what is it that's making me feel stress? And then you can link it to this, and again, we're trying to eliminate those thoughts that cause that. Anything that makes you feel anxious. You're not going to perform very well when you're in a state of being anxious. Another thing, as a baseball player, here's a couple real common ones that are not going to serve you well. Worrying about the scoreboard, right? Whether you're up 10 runs or down 10 runs, that's not going to serve you well. Worrying about what the umpire calls, that's not going to serve you well. You got to be able to live with the results of what he calls and then move on from there. Worrying about the other team, to be honest with you, because you can't control how good the other team is, how bad the other team is. You can only control your performance. And so stop worrying about who you're playing. Stop worrying about where you're playing them. Stop worrying about the weather, right? A game that's rainy, a game that maybe the weather conditions are colder than normal, whatever it is. We have all of these things, all of these thoughts, all of these excuses, what they really are, that don't serve us well. Get them off of your mental menu. And so we want to have a relatively small menu of thoughts. Okay, when you can do that, you can be a lot more clear on what these thoughts are and what it is you're trying to do. Right? Because at the end of the day, we keep preaching, take care of your job. Take care of the things that you can control. And again, when you have those things on your mental menu to pick from and nothing else, makes your playing style, makes your game, your performance, everything else a heck of a lot easier. And so, thoughts that serve you. For me, when I was a ball player, 3 words that I would constantly repeat to myself was loose, free, and aggressive. That was my playing style where I played the best. And I think for a lot of us, we play the best in that playing style. Loose, free, and aggressive. So I'm going to write that down. I wanted my body to feel loose, whether I was up to bat in the batter's box, in the field, in the dugout, communicating with my teammates, wherever it was. I wanted to feel loose and comfortable in my own skin. I wanted to be feeling free, that I could go and play and just leave it all out on the line. I did not want to be playing in a state of hesitation or being worried about making a mistake, failure here. Tense, tight, none of those things served me well. Right, so I want to play loose on the field. I want to play free in my decisions, that allowing me to be more of a decisive player. Right, that way I'm reacting faster. I'm trusting my instincts. Right, and so along the line of all these things, loose, free, aggressive in the playing style. Again, being decisive. That's when you're going to play the best. Okay, and we start to tie now these thoughts that serve us well to now the performances that those two things can be connected to. Because again, your performance starts here. Okay, if you're not performing well, it's because you have these thoughts before the at-bat starts, before the game starts. And if you are performing well, more times than not, you're playing in these states of mind. Loose, free, aggressive, thinking about what you can make happen on the field, not what you're fearing to mess up. And I'm going to say that again because that's crucial. Think about what you could make happen. Stop fearing what you can mess up. Those are two totally different mindsets there as an athlete, and also, again, carries over to anything you're doing in life, school, work, whatever it is. But you've got to understand we're creating a mental menu of things to pick from. Again, you sit down at a restaurant, you can only order from what's on the menu, right? So if you go into your game, you create your mental menu, you should only be able to order up thoughts from what you have predetermined before the game, before the season. Right now in your off season, perfect time to start creating your own mental menu. And so again, I want you to think about this. Think about how it applies to you. And here's the thing, if you can create the menu and stay true to it, that's the key. Create your own mental menu and sign off on the bottom of it, right? Put a little statement at the bottom that says, I will stay true to my mental menu no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the outcome of the game is, right? No matter how good or bad I perform. Sign it off at the bottom. And that's letting you know you're committing to yourself, right? Because a lot of us have these thoughts we know we should have, and we understand the thoughts we shouldn't have, but we don't commit to it. We don't stay true to it. And so when you stay true to it, now you get clear on it. Now it's more about just following the playbook. Follow the mental menu that you've set for yourself, and that makes everything else a lot easier. Okay, so that's the final step of this. You do it, you commit to it, you get crystal clear on what it is you're trying to think, and now all you have to do is follow it, right? You don't have to come up with the answers in the middle of the game. Right? And that's the toughest thing to do. You stay true to your framework here, and then again, you evaluate after the fact. You evaluate after the game. And if you want to change or add a couple things to this, then go ahead. But you can't ruin the whole foundation that you set right now in the off season. You've got to set the foundation now, stay true to it, rehearse it, go over it. Go over it nightly, go over it a couple times a week. So that way, when you get into your season, you understand what it is you're trying to think on the field. You understand what it is you're trying to follow. You're understanding your identity as a player. You're understanding all of these things. And the clarity in this is one of the most important things. When you can get clear and get a full understanding of what you want to let enter your mind and what you don't want to let enter your mind, your ability to block out distractions is going to improve. Your ability to focus is going to improve. Again, not because you have to know all the complex things throughout the game, because you're understanding these simple things and you're committing to them. You're getting better at the simple things that you can take care of. I'll say this list does not need to be really long. You could maybe have 5 things on there. You could maybe have 7 or 8 things on there. I would say no more than 10. And if they're quick, short, little ones, then you can have more. If you have something with a little more detail on there, let's keep it to a minimum. You've got to be able to memorize this mental menu when it's time to actually play. And so just to summarize, start creating this, make 2 columns. To understand what's the best thing to put on the menu, you got to put the good things and the bad things, so you know what you definitely don't want on there, and then you know the things you do want on there. And again, you've got to understand that you can only order from the menu. That is the key, right? You can't order anything that's not on the menu, and so get crystal clear on what that is and try to come up with a good one. If you need help on this, if you have any questions about it, put a comment below and you can ask me and I'll try to answer it and help guide you through the process of creating your own mental menu.